Hey folks, my name is Toad, and welcome to another episode of Toad's Tunes. Today, I sat down with Stephen Carey. We talked Turd Ferguson, Burt Reynolds. Dude, did you know that Mario from Mario Brothers has two first names? We talked Yellow Card, Puddle of Mud, Limp Bizkit, Zoom Rights, and so much more with Stephen Carey. Let's get to know him.
How it all happened so fast and you're gone. Feel so right, I feel so wrong, but I'd rather have a girl that wrecks me rather than feel nothing.
Welcome to another episode of Toad's Tunes. Sitting here today with Mr. Stephen Carey.
Yes, what is up?
Your second time playing Stoney's rock and country right here in fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada.
Love it.
Welcome back, dude.
Thanks, man. Honestly, thanks for having me.
I'm going to say that weather-wise, we picked a pretty good weekend because last weekend was like 110, 115. The weekend before, that was like 120.
Yep. I was here for that. 2 weeks ago, I was out here. The rental car said it was like 117 out. I was like, man, I feel like my shoes are going to melt to the concrete when I step out of this damn thing.
It is no fun. It's exhausting. I think it's probably the best way to put an analogy to the heat here.
Oh
because
my God, the heat. You know what's so funny? Every time I brought it up, like, you know, I'm from Florida. I live in Nashville. Every time you say, oh, I'm going out to Vegas. Yeah, it's supposed to be super hot. Oh, it's the summer. It's super hot. Everybody goes, oh, well, it's a dry heat. Well, it's a dry heat.
Yeah.
If I had $1, I'd
Yes.
have like $7. But
well, here's what's funny. I'll go back a few years, and we went to Nashville to go do some photo stuff as we started working more with bands and all that kind of stuff. We went back, and it was July. And it was 90 degrees outside. And it was like 80% humidity. I understand the difference.
Right.
I do.
Absolutely.
They're both hot. The end of the day is that they're both miserable.
Yeah.
That dry heat. I played golf in the middle of the summer. It was the last time I'll ever do that. I got to like 13, and I was like, I'm done.
Dude, yeah.
No energy. Myself, I was like 130 degrees. Outside was like 140. It's like
Yeah.
no fun. It's no fun.
You get the swamp outside. You get the swamp in your pants. It's
Dude.
no good.
Swamp ass.
Swamp in your AKA pants.
I see what
Let's
you did
go.
there. I see
Come
what you
on.
did there. That name, I got too many nicknames. AKA Pants was my son's nickname when he was 3. I would have to buy him 6 toddler shorts because his waist was so big.
Oh, wow.
But then when you buy a 6 toddler, they're long.
Right.
So his shorts look like pants. So I used to call him Pants.
That's great.
That's where the name
I was
came
like,
from.
I wondered, honestly, I was like, where did you get this handle?
It's so funny that
odd,
I've
yeah.
been debating on whether or not I'm going to change it. So I just finally got a TikTok, and
Is it Toad or is it AKA Pants?
it's Toad. It's TOADTOK. Toad Cock.
Okay.
So I've had a few people actually write me and ask me for the name.
That's
And
awesome.
I'm like, but I haven't really posted too much on there. I posted 2 things on there. I just posted one a couple weeks ago.
Dude, I gotta
Just
go
random.
find you. That's awesome.
Yeah, but I got to use it more. I kind of want to use it to give people an idea of what the back end of music is all about.
Oh yeah.
Because
Well, you've got a perfect insight to that. Everything you guys
Yeah.
do here and in Boise, dude. Yeah.
just the way that you get to see it. So I always joke that because the people that are downstairs just assume that you fly in and you play the show, do some hookers and blow. Yeah, I'm saying that again. And you get back on the plane and you go to the next spot. That's
Right.
what they think. They don't.
Right.
There's no idea of the load in, of the rehearsals, of the before the band goes on. What's your ritual? What do you guys talk about? Do you guys sit in the green room? Do you just drink the whole time? Do you guys talk? Do you nobody has an
Does your
insight?
guitar player cancel a week before the show and you have to buy a plane ticket for someone else? Like, yeah, a lot of stuff goes into it they don't know about.
Yeah, I mean, there's. I always go back to I picked up Maggie Rose at the airport one day, and I took her to a radio station. Well, on the way to the radio station, she changed her clothes in my front seat.
Nice.
Her husband, as her manager, was in the back seat, and we were listening to Machine Gun Kelly on the way there.
Sick.
And she's like spitting like everything, and I'm just like
That's
going,
fun.
God, if I just had like these like GoPros in here, people would be like, this is
Oh,
real
this
life.
is what it is? Yeah, no kidding. That's awesome.
I think, and that's what totally started my brain kind of thing. And that was years ago, and you can see how fast I am with stuff.
Right.
I get shit done.
Yeah. Oh,
Takes
yeah.
a couple years. So your first show back,
Yes.
your last show was here at Stoney's.
Right.
Um,
Pretty amazing how that ended up working out, man. Full circle moments are just, I don't know. I don't know if it's a coincidence. I don't know how that kind of stuff ends up working, but man, couldn't be more excited for this to be the first full band show back. Having the last show been 3 days after a tornado ripped through Nashville and only a few days before the whole country and world shut down,
Right.
and for this to be our first full thing back is like just serendipitous.
dude, literally end it. I mean, begin where you end, that sort of thing.
Yeah, feels nice.
2020, you grew a mustache.
I grew a mustache, man.
Did you name your mustache?
No, I didn't name the mustache.
I'm just
but-
going to tell you right now. You told me the story about your wife just digging it, but if you were to name it, you cannot name it Pierre because it's way too big.
a PA. I don't know.
No, it can't be. You
No. Honestly, this is I would name it after my inspiration for it. I'd name it the Burt.
The Burt.
Yeah, that's what I think it is. I would name it Burt or the Burt, however you want to refer to it.
The Burt.
Dude, Burt Reynolds, man.
Oh, Turd Ferguson.
Dude, yes. For real though, R.I.P. Norm. We're gonna have a little shout out during the set for you.
Yeah, dude, that's sad. I think more like a Luigi. We should name it Luigi or something like that.
Oh my God! All right, I have to touch on that for just a second because I get the Mario thing sometimes because I'm a man with a mustache. So,
Right.
Oh, Mario, dear. But I started thinking about it. I was like, damn. So there's Luigi and there's Mario, but they're called the Mario Bros.
Right.
So I'm like, I literally Googled it the second I thought of it. I was like, is Mario their last name too? Like, is it Mario and Luigi Mario? And it is.
No, it's not.
There's a literal description of it, like from Nintendo, that says
His name is
yes.
Mario.
Yes.
Holy
You're today years old when you found that out.
Wow.
It blew my mind too.
That is freaking crazy.
Yeah.
I'll say, we'll go back. Other than getting COVID, you're obviously fine.
Yep.
Yep.
Survived.
Bad flu. I like it.
Yeah.
What do you take from 2020? What's something that you appreciate more today that, let's say in 2019 you didn't, but today in 2021 you do?
Oh my gosh, dude. I don't know. I feel like it's honestly one of the strangest things, but I feel like there's like just a level of comfortability and freedom just to move about the cabin that got taken away from us in a whole lot of different ways. You know what I mean? And it's like, I guess at the core of all of it, it was like, what do we do? Holy crap. You know what I mean? Like what could possibly be best to just make everyone do, or how are we going to get through this? How's this going to work? And, I don't love digging into this kind of stuff because it is what it is. We all been through it. We're still living through it now. We're still navigating all this stuff. There's a mask mandate here in Las Vegas. There's not in Nashville. You know what I mean? Like the stuff is just all over the board at this point. But I would say that I think one of the best things that came out of 2020 for a lot of people that have like regular jobs, you're working in an office, et cetera, the remote work, the ways that people have been able to connect digitally. My wife works for Notes for Notes. They're a killer organization. They had to develop an entire digital wing of their business that didn't involve youth going into studios, which was their whole model. So, right. I mean, like the way that businesses and organizations like that had to pivot and just figure out how to survive actually created like a way more sustainable model for all kinds of things, which I love.
It's neat how people pivoted. It kind of is.
You got to survive, man. It's like a little bit of, not survival of the fittest, but you just had to adapt and innovate. And I think it created a lot of that.
If we were smarter than we were, we probably would have invested in like Zoom or something like that. Probably been retired right now.
Oh, dude, we'd be so rich, dude.
I did some Zoom interviews, and it was kind of sketch because, it's interesting. But then I look at the other side, and as a writer, and it's got to be difficult. Like I don't know if you did any Zoom writes through the whole thing, or if you ever.
Dude, I did, and some of them were trash, and some of them got great songs.
Right.
One of my favorite songs I've ever written was over Zoom with Joe Fox and Abby Gutierrez, and we just banged it out in about 2.5 hours. I just never expected that kind of chemistry to happen. But when you have a great idea and everybody's flowing on it in the same level of energy, and like it just came together.
Doesn't matter where you are.
Yeah, exactly. You could be in the room or not. And a lot of people, you get the complaints like, oh, the energy's not the same. And I get it. Of course it's not the same. But you can either adapt and like still try to write great music or not. I don't know.
Yeah, everyone has to have their own weed at the Zoom thing. You can't just puff, puff, give.
Right. There's no puff, puff, pass. It's like puff, puff.
I'm
done. Smoking this whole joint? Yeah.
I haven't laughed like that in a while, man. That's pretty funny. I never even thought that would be a thing. So Nashville, like, what have you seen change there in the last year? Do you think that there's a lot more people moved to Nashville? Do you think that there's a different music scene there now, or?
I do think that the population is obviously just always growing and changing because people are moving in, they're moving out. We have noticed it's like this everywhere, but I own a house, so I can't help it. I'm always like up in the real estate stuff, trying to figure out what's going on with our neighborhood and the price per square foot here and there and da-da-da-da. But man, some of the battles that I hear about people getting into to try to get homes there, because people are selling homes that are worth so much more, potentially on the West Coast or wherever, and they're just able to offer, hundreds of thousands over asking, and it's just not something somebody like me can do.
Cash.
Yeah. Yes.
I
couldn't afford to buy my own house now.
Right.
And I live there.
Yeah. It is pretty nuts, man. I watch the real estate market here a lot, and I watch what California is. I have a lot of friends that live in Cali, and like even you go there and like a 2,200 square foot house in California is like 900,000 in a shitty part of town.
Right.
But then they come to Vegas, and we saw Vegas kind of flip like that too. This market went nuts here, and we bought 18, 19, 20, 20. We bought in 19, so 3 years. 18. We bought September of 18. I sold my last house. We bought a half acre and put a house up right now. And my actual neighbor right now he's an investor. He wants to buy it and give us like $200,000 more than it's worth.
Wow.
And you're kind of like,
just because he knows what it's going to be worth. Yeah.
Well, I think that, and it's a piece of land. There's no HOA.
Ooh,
I mean, it's like it's a diamond in the rough. And then I'm like sitting back going, well, I don't need this much land.
Yeah, well, what can we do? Yeah.
But it's just crazy to watch how other markets are doing the same thing. We saw up in Emmett, where Stoney's Roadhouse is.
Yeah.
We were looking at a piece of property up there, and for $300,000 you could get 5 acres and a house.
Oh my God. Yeah.
And it was a brand new house.
Right.
And it was like now that same thing, you can't even buy the land for $300,000.
Wow.
Without the house, and you're just like, holy cow! Like
it just jumps. Yeah.
I'm
everywhere.
afraid that, like people always say it's not going to do what it did in 08, but I sit back and go,
something's got to give. Yeah, at some point.
I look at like the home values, like they can't sustain.
Yeah.
Interest rates go down. We ended up refinancing and saving some money, which
so
is kind
did
of
we.
cool.
Yeah, man, we got to take advantage of it because the value went up so quick. I was
Right.
like, well, all right.
Yeah, we took nothing out, just refinanced because the rates were a lot higher when we bought, like literally twice as much.
Wow.
So it was a blessing for us. But enough about real world stuff.
Yes,
Dude, the rest of the year you're gonna be playing some more shows.
Yeah, man, I'm pumped, dude. I have not played in my hometown. I'm going to get bitched out for this. I haven't played in my hometown in 5 years.
Oh, wow.
I've just been so focused on building everything that I want to be able to do in relationships and and Nashville.
Sure.
It's just like...
You mean life got in the way?
It did, man. It did. And I still go there all the time and visit family, holidays, etc.
Where is hometown?
It's Jacksonville, Florida. Okay. So, that's how I kind of got started in music. It was just a great music scene there, honestly. There's multi-genre. Obviously in the 70s you had the whole... Southern rock, explosion that happened there. And
who's the biggest band to come out of there?
Biggest band?
Like, who are people, like, when you say that genre of music, who do people do you look at that?
Well, I like to do it kind of threefold, because to me there's like a few different levels of types of bands as far as genre goes. So you had, Leonard Skinner, Molly Hatchet. The Allman Brothers got their start there.
Oh, wow.
38 Special. They're all the Van Zants, you know what I mean?
Right.
They were just like infectious. They were just all involved in that kind of era, I guess, in Jacksonville. There's something in the water for sure. And then you look at kind of the late 90s explosion of rock, where you had Puddle of Mud, Shinedown, some of these major rock bands,
right.
Limp Bizkit. I mean, good God, dude,
Freddie.
they sold 40 million records. You know what I mean? Like, you can make fun of them all you want, but I love them. And
dude, I love Limp Bizkit, man.
Dude, I do too, and people hate on it or whatever at the time. I feel like it's like they're cool again now. I don't know, but either way, they were the biggest thing imaginable in Jacksonville when they were coming up, and I got to be there for that, and I'll never forget it, dude. So that to me was also another wave. And then oddly enough, it was a little smaller scale, but still, millions of albums. So Yellow Card, Red Jumpsuit Apparatus, some of the guys that I came up with, that I went to school with and stuff like that, they blew up too. Major label deals on the radio, selling. Yellow Card sold 3-4 million.
Dude,
Red Jumpsuit sold $1 million.
Best fiddle player in the business.
Dude, Sean is amazing. And he's providing for his family, doing all kinds of other work and stuff like that now too. But man, it's just wild how many times that thing has happened in Jacksonville. So I felt good about everything that I had been doing there, but I was like, man, I think I need to be the singer, and I just never was. I was the guy that loved being in a band with my friends and playing, whatever needed to be played. Guitar, bass, drum, it didn't matter. I just loved being in a band and playing music.
Right.
And when I started writing songs that I knew nobody else was going to sing, that's when I found my voice. It was like country music gave me a way to say what I wanted to say as an artist instead of just a guy in the band.
Right. That just came up with a cool lick.
Cool. Yeah. great.
I'm gonna go back, like, not even this past week. I had a memory came up on Facebook, and it was Limp Bizkit's always been on my bucket list.
You've never seen them?
I had never seen them up until it was probably 10 years ago.
Okay.
It came up on my thing, but it was one of those bands that I always wanted to see. But every time they were supposed to play here in Vegas, whether it be a radio show, they would cancel for some reason.
Oh.
And so, like, the radio station that was here hated them. They were like, "We'll never touch them again."
Screw these guys,
and I guess
yeah.
they were supposed to play for the UFC at one point a few years back, and they canceled the show for some reason. So screw them then too. But I would watch them on YouTube overseas all the time, and just be like,
Dude,
"Dude,
those European festivals go so hard. Yeah.
I mean, it's a whole nother level." But like, I look at Wes Borland. He's probably one of my favorite, like, creative guitar players out there.
He's one of the best, like, performers, on-stage performers
Dude,
of our generation.
You never
by
know
far.
what you never know anything about that dude, what he's going to come out looking like. But
I love it.
so they played at the House of Blues here. That cap there's a little over 2,000.
Holy crap.
I took my son, and it was probably one of the craziest shows I had ever seen.
That's
and
epic, dude.
I've been to Warped Tour 20 times. Like,
Yes.
I've seen some shit.
They played Warped Tour back
Yeah.
in 98, 97?
I didn't see them. I've seen a lot of Warped Tours. I think my favorite one was, there was 4 of us, and we wanted to go see it. And it was in Anaheim, and we pulled up. I wanted to see Weezer. Someone wanted to see Green Day. Someone wanted to see, it wasn't the Used, it was someone like the Used, and another band. We literally pulled in. The 4 bands played side by side stage. Played,
Boom, boom, boom.
got back in the truck and drove home.
And
It
took
was
off.
like, it was perfect.
Dude,
Yeah.
that's insane. My mom took me to Warped Tour the first year that I went, and it was in Jacksonville. And it was when the guys, I guess they probably still live there, but the drummer for Biscuit, John Otto, he and his family grew up in my neighborhood
man.
in Arlington. And
Is he? Yeah, he's little, isn't he?
I mean, he's short. He's
Yeah.
like not tall. He's probably
Right.
under 6 feet. But we're walking over to the damn porta potties, and some guy, I don't know who this is. You know, my mom's remarried at this point. I have a stepdad, whatever. And he calls her Miss Carrie. He goes, "Hey, Miss Carrie." And I was like, damn, I've never heard anyone call my
I'm
mom
whooping
Miss
this
Carrie.
boy's
This
ass.
is whack. Who is this?
Is she a teacher?
She was. She was. So I was like, well, clearly this is one of her old students. And she was like, "Hey, John." And I started doing the mental math. It's not like he was like, "Hey, I'm John from Limp Bizkit." He was just like talking to my mom. And I was like, holy crap. My mom's talking to the drummer for Limp Bizkit right now.
My mom's just 100% cooler. right
And he
now.
was like, "Yeah, I just came up here to see Deftones." I was like, what the F? So
Dude.
yeah, that was the year before. I mean, that was before Around the Fur even came out, I think,
Right.
which
Dude.
was nuts.
So I'm a huge Deftones fan.
Me too. Love them.
Heather, you met her tonight. She's never been to a rock show before.
Oh, wow.
Ever.
Yeah.
So
It's a different vibe.
The first one I take her to is the Deftones. They played downtown, and I have some friends in the business, so we pulled up at the hotel, and they're like, "We don't have any parking." I give the guy a 20. He's like, "I can't park it up front." I go, "I don't give a shit. I'm gonna be here an hour, and I'm out."
Just gonna, yeah,
Like, I'm
need
going-
to leave it somewhere. Yeah, come
so
on, man.
we walk across the street, we get our passes, we go up on the second level, and she's looking down, and out comes Chino, and dude,
The vibe.
the whole room just, dude, we're talking, there's probably 7,000 people there.
Wow.
And they're all just doing this, and we're up on top looking down and everybody. So this pit breaks out, and she's like, "What is that?"
What's
what?
that?
Yeah, she goes, "What?" Dude, this was 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, and I go, "That's their line dancing."
Yeah,
Like-
that's that's their line dancing.
That's their line dancing.
I've never heard.
But
it
am I
referred to-
wrong?
No, not at all. That is 100% correct. I've never heard anyone articulate it like that, and I love it.
It
That's
just came out,
amazing.
and then they started the crowd surfing. She goes, "Are those people gonna get in trouble?" I said, no, they're really nice, but if they end up in the front like 3 or 4 times, they'll end up, they'll
Something
throw
will
them
happen,
out, something
yeah.
like that. So that show was over. We left. Well, then I took her to go see Blue October,
Okay.
and my buddy books everything over at the Brooklyn Bowl. So
Oh, sweet.
the stage, this is the stage. The crowd's out here. We're standing right here, and so. I'm a huge fan. I go see him when he's by himself. I go see him when he's with the band. I've watched him forever. She's never experienced Blue October's not hard or anything like that.
No,
They're just-
no, but
Justin is like, he just does his dude. He is
he's the voice. Yeah,
he's
the
one of those guys that, like, I don't like when people talk a lot during their shows, but he has such a story
Yeah.
that for some reason, like, I'll literally yell at a band for talking too much when they get down. Be like, "Dude, shut the fuck up.
Play a
it."
song,
Yeah,
man.
just-
Yeah.
But him, like, I went and saw him do his open book thing where he literally, him and his brother, like they opened the book in his notes and he went through where the songs came from and like
It was a real storyteller, like,
yes,
kind of
it's
thing.
nuts. But
That's cool.
watching them play, she just saw how I
how I see music and hear music. I have friends come up to me and go, "You don't listen the way we do."
Oh man.
And I'm like, "No,
Yeah,
I don't. But enjoy what you listen to, and I'll enjoy what I listen to." I used to go see bands, local bands, where the singer sucked.
Oh man.
I mean, horrible. But I found so much enjoyment out of the drummer and the guitar player. Bass player could have been good, bad. It didn't matter. But I can separate that in my head and just listen to what I need to listen to. And I do that with Blue October, although everyone in that band is awesome. But him, I just listen to, I think his name is Justin Federline or something like that. But he is just an amazing singer.
That's awesome.
And his storytelling and getting to take her to go see something like that, someone that enjoys lyrics but doesn't understand music, kind of, I've been doing this for so long that I think it's fair to say that you probably go watch a band play, and you, being a drummer, a bass player, a singer, and a guitar player,
Dude.
you see stuff different than other people see.
Well, honestly, it's crazy. My wife is like, she knows lyrics. You know what I mean? Like, if you put a song on, whether she can sing it note for note or not, she knows the lyrics weirdly. And I was never like that, but I knew the kick drum pattern, and I knew the guitar riff. And it was just so strange to me because, like, I got in trouble when I was younger for having CDs that I shouldn't have had because my mom, like, saw the lyrics and was like, oh, my God, like, you cannot be listening to music that's talking about this kind of stuff. And, of course, it was Deftones and all this other shit. But, man, that's what really kind of changed in my, like, journey musically, becoming more of a songwriter than just a musician, was learning how to not only focus on, like, the lyrics themselves and what they mean and whether or not they make sense, but the phrasing and how to actually deliver it and create an emotion and, you know, have that be something that makes someone who hears it want to go buy it or buy a ticket to come see it live. You know, there's just so much more tied to the lyric and the emotion that gets drawn from it, that gets focused on in Nashville, that is just, I didn't know that growing up.
You're friends with Scott Stevens?
Yes. I mean, we know each other. We've played some shows together. We don't hang out enough, but I love the guy.
I love that dude. He's got that song Routine. I don't know if you've heard it before, but you listen to the lyrics, and I asked him one day, I said, dude, you're married. Like, I said, how do you put yourself back into that position of routine, of missing somebody and not being able to actually, you know, feel it where you're at? And he goes, that song's not about a girl. He told me it was about his relationship with Nashville.
Wow.
And I was like, holy shit balls. Like, I'm sitting back going, dude, mind blown, because I'm like, whoa, whatever. My buddy Dave, I'm a Tool fan. I listen to Tool. Pussifer's okay, but Tool I love. So we flew to Glendale in the end of 19, I think it was.
Dude, Danny Carey.
Dude.
We have the same last name. Dude. I don't know if we're related.
Somewhere.
But please teach me how to play like that.
Jesus, right? So we go see him in Glendale, Arizona, and I'm watching my buddy Dave and his brother. They're both drummers, bass players, like super musicians, and I'm like watching them, and I became a bigger fan of Tool just from hanging out with them.
Oh, man, yeah.
And so then they came and played here at T-Mobile, so I took Heather
at the arena, dude. Ooh.
And we went and saw that, and I just sit back and I'm like, dude, Danny Carey's like fucking close to 60 years old, and the dude's a beast.
He's jacked. He wears a basketball jersey from every city he plays in. He's got his crazy drum set up. I mean, he's like a prog rock Neil Peart kind of vibe.
You know, he's got a video on YouTube, a GoPro of him just on his drums. I don't know if it's the pot that he's playing. It might be that, might be something else. But you watch it and just watch him move around his drum set.
Oh yeah,
because it's a monster.
Yeah,
some digital, some not, and then I just sit back and I'm like, dude, that guy's like,
he's just in his little like playland. You know what I mean? And I love just watching that. Watching somebody in their zone like that is awesome.
Yeah, and actually getting to see. I saw Maynard when he sang with Pussifer, and he was the back of the stage behind a TV.
Whoa!
But it was weird. And
he's a weird guy, but he's got an iconic voice, and he just gets to do.
And he writes some lyrics, dude.
Yeah,
like I never really tore apart the lyrics, so I was with my buddy Dave, and Dave's like, dude, this is what he's talking about, and I'm like, holy shit! Like I should read more of this because my God, like the dude he's an artist.
Yeah,
he's a total artist.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, through and through.
We should probably talk more about your music.
Sure.
Goals for 21. Are you writing? Do you have a bunch of stuff in the bag that you want to get recorded?
Oh my gosh, yes. So the songs that are released now were part of a batch that kind of grew over the course of about a year and a half to 2 years. So I was, working with a producer and a guitar player that he was working with all the time, and really like the three of us kind of created the whole thing. We farmed drums out to a killer drummer, Miles McPherson, that plays on a ton of stuff. and the rest of it was just done in a bedroom in East Nashville, you know?
Right.
But when you get it mixed by the right people and it's recorded the right way with the right mics and the right inputs and all of that kind of stuff, it's pretty amazing what can actually be created.
Are you talking Summer Cool and Rex Me?
Yeah, dude.
Okay.
All of that was done in a side bedroom in a house in East Nashville.
Love it.
And you know, we had it mixed right and mastered up in New York or whatever, and then they send it back and it just sounds huge, so we love it, so we put it out. And we didn't know anything. We didn't put anything behind it. Like, there was no plan. We had no videos or content or anything. We literally just put the song on Spotify, and it got on New Music Friday, and then it reached whatever, like the top 20 on the Viral 50 chart. I was
Which one, Rex
mind-blown.
Me?
Yeah, no,
Oh,
Summer Cool, when it first
Summer
came
Cool.
out.
Okay, gotcha.
Which was just nuts. That was the first song I'd released since I'd moved to Nashville and started doing anything there.
Right.
So really, really cool to see how something like that can just blow up. But to me, I was like, wow, this really proves that, like, the song is what actually matters. Yes, I want people to know that it's me and, like, find me and identify that and all of that stuff, but that takes time. And I actually heard an interview with Craig Morgan about that. He had shirts printed, like, 5 singles into his career that said, the guy that sings Redneck Yacht Club and blah, blah, blah. So, like, he was still paranoid that far into his career that people didn't know who he was, that he sang those songs. It's like, he knows that people know the songs, but he doesn't know if they know that it's him.
Right.
And I feel the same way, but it'll come. I know that it'll come. We just have to keep putting out great music. I have to keep putting out great music and make people realize that, yes, this is the same guy. But, dude, Rex Me, when I heard that demo, so Ryan Hurd sang the demo, and Zach Crowell and Neil Mason wrote it with him. It sounds nuts. Yeah, there they are. There's a Cadillac 3 snare drum head right here. Love you, Neil. They wrote the song. The demo sounded crazy. It was honestly kind of like industrial electronic, but then with Ryan's voice. It was also a full step higher, so it sounded a lot more aggressive. So my producer gets a hold of it, Matt Sherman. He goes, okay, we're going to drop this down a little bit. We're going to make it a band, like a rock song, like a rock country song. And then we put my buddy Andy, that played for Party for years, that does a bunch of session work on pedal steel. Like, the way that song became what it is now from what it was when I first heard it is like night and day.
Right.
But, man, I couldn't be more proud or stoked to have been able to record and release that song, and especially to play it live tonight.
Your producer heard it first and was like, this is, you need to do that?
He was like, this is something that I think we could make into something really cool for you. That's going to be
Ryan
unique.
was one of the writers on it, or he was just so he just knew that it wasn't in his bag.
I have no idea. I mean, dude, they wrote that before he was really even, I would imagine, like, looking for songs for his project. You know what I mean? Like, he may have had just put out that 4-song thing he did initially.
Right.
But
I do love his new single, June, July, and August.
Yeah,
have you heard? Dude, I mean, I like him. I don't love everything he's put out.
Me neither. I loved
song,
City Girl. That's what kind of roped me in. And when I heard Rex Me, that's what I heard.
Right.
I was like, this is that City Girl vibe. This is dope. You know what I mean?
That's funny.
Yeah.
And then Summer Cool, is that one of your tunes?
Summer Cool was the first song that led to me working with Neil or doing really anything that I've done so far. So a close friend of mine that I was in a pop-punk band called Hello Danger with, so Ian Christian, Matt Sherman, and Neil Mason wrote Summer Cool over the course of, I think, 2 sessions. They told me they were writing something and it wasn't really working, and then they moved on to something else, and Ian had that riff. So, like, one of my best friends in the whole world that lives down the street from me now in Nashville, amazingly enough, had a sick riff that led to, like, a song that kind of, like, blew up as far as I'm concerned, you know what I mean, on an independent level, absolutely blew up and created a lot more opportunities for me. That kind of started a lot of stuff for me.
So what are your goals for 21?
21, I have a vision, and I'm not
coming quick.
I'm
it's
not.
almost
I
over.
know it's already. We're already there. Hey, Merry Christmas.
You got 3.5 months.
Yeah, Merry Christmas. So for these dates that I'm booking in November right now, I'm making it back down to Jacksonville. I'm finally going to play back there again. That should be ridiculous. That's going to be a lot of fun, especially because it's at a small club that the singer from one of my old bands like runs now. So
beautiful.
Really,
Homecoming.
just like best case scenario. Yeah, exactly. Can't wait for that. So I'm working with a couple of other guys that are going to help me kind of bring this vision to life. And it's actually, one of them is Chad, the tour manager for Cadillac 3. So, like, everything's kind of in the family, which is great, you know?
Right. We've got stories about that whole camp.
Yeah.
Chris does. I don't drink, but Chris gets drunk with those guys and gets kicked off
Exactly.
buses. That's
Yeah,
all
I
I'm saying.
know. I knew that about you, but you're lucky that that's like a line that you draw, because I think stuff just gets so crazy out of hand, because it's like you're working. I'm out here working, but it's also feels like vacation a little bit every time you're on the road. You know what I mean? So
absolutely.
finding that balance is always tough. But yeah, the stuff that I want to do by the end of this year and for next year all definitely includes releasing new music, taking a little bit different approach to how we're going to be able to perform on a more sustainable level. So I'm really excited about it. And I have a lot of people that I'm working with now that understand, love, and want to help me bring that vision to life, which is like the greatest thing you could have. You have to have help, man. Doing everything yourself is one of the hardest things to do. And I think, like, the old saying, like, if you want something done right, you got to do it yourself. I think if you want something done right, hire somebody that knows what the hell they're doing.
Dude, I'm going to interject with something here that
or collaborate with somebody that knows what the hell they're doing.
I agree 1,000%. I've done 160, 170 of these. I've had one artist come in here and tell me that he will never write with anyone else because they just don't write the way he does, not on his level.
That's a bummer. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't.
The
get
reason
that.
that's a bummer to me, I feel sad for someone that in that position, because I feel like that only means that they haven't somehow been in a room and had the kind of chemistry that you can have.
Sure.
And that to me is like, that's heartbreaking. Dude, some of the moments that I've had in writing rooms where it's just like the lightning strikes and you go, oh, damn. And I mean, it's once in 100, you know what I mean? Like,
sure.
You write a bunch of great songs and yeah, they're great. They're good, But there's those ones that just cut you deep. And when you're able to absorb that in the moment, when the line comes out of somebody's mouth or you tweak it and then it lands on the chord in the right way and there's a track going or whatever, it's just like you get goosebumps.
Holy
because
shit.
I'm getting them
Right.
now. You know what I mean? Like, you can just feel that magic right when it happens.
I didn't agree with it. I don't understand that either, because the end of the day is, I have a buddy, his name is Jim. He told me not too long ago that all ships rise when they're all together. The boat all rises the same. So if everyone's on the same team working at the same goal,
right,
it's a win. The end of the day is it's a fucking win.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, and so I don't know if it's ego. I don't know if it's but at the end of the day, I agree 1,000% with you that if you can go into a room with an idea, that's how every business is born. It's not one guy doing everything, or one girl for that matter doing everything.
So I'm lucky, man. I'm lucky to have folks that believe in me and understand what it is that I want to do and want to help me get there and do that. It's really exciting.
Have you ever played a show with the Cadillac 3?
I have. No one was available, and I had to play alone. So I played solo acoustic opening for them, but it was a lot of fun. They do that, you know what I mean? They've had tons of guys come out and just open for them acoustic. I didn't want to have to. I wanted to go out and just like rock like they do, you know what I mean?
Those dudes are intense.
They're intense, and there's 3 of them, and it's just loud as hell and super fun. I was such a fan of their band, before I ever even moved to town, and it was just like crazy that I got to work with Neil so much, and I'm stoked for all the insane stuff that they've been able to do through the pandemic.
Busy dudes, man.
Now the 10-year anniversary, he's managing Ray and all these other artists and all this fun stuff. I mean, like, the guy is crazy busy, and so is Jaron,
Yeah. Neil, I had Austin Jinx here and Ray Fulcher on an ACM gig, and he was advancing both of their shows, and he goes, I'll call you back in like 75 minutes. I go, I'm just screwing with him. Like, we got a show. He goes, actually, yeah, I'm stepping foot on the stage. I'll call you back.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, this dude's crazy. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I work hard, but I look at something
It's like a
that.
different level, yeah.
Dude, it's like, think about it. He writes, he manages, he plays, he does all these things.
And he just had a kid. He got married. I mean,
Yeah.
dude, it's like ridiculous. Yeah.
We were supposed to have them up in Idaho, and I think someone came down with COVID in their camp, and they had to cancel the show. And
They did, yeah, a few shows, yeah. I
Yeah.
heard about that. I mean,
We
it
can't wait to
happens
get
to
it back.
everybody.
Yeah.
And it's what's crazy is that, like, you could test positive but not have any, I don't know,
no
man.
symptoms.
Yeah, I
I
don't
mean,
get
I've had
that.
the fluke a couple times in my life too.
Yeah.
I don't even want to get into that shit.
Yeah, no,
I just,
it's awful.
super frustrating. Do you have like a band that you would love to go out on the road and kind of like nurture you into the artist that could help you be bigger, better, that you could like kind of like get mentored by?
Man, that's actually a really good
Listen,
kind of thing to think
don't
about.
go all Slash on me, because I was watching an interview earlier with Miles Kennedy and Slash. And
Oh, boy.
someone asked him a question. He goes, that's a really great question. And Chris downstairs goes, he's been taught well. That gives him time to think about an answer.
Right, yeah. No kidding. Yeah, it just buys you a little bit of time. Well, I haven't necessarily thought about that. I mean, honestly, a dream like opening slot, like if you were like, hey, here's a huge opportunity to go be direct support for somebody, dude, Old Dominion's like my favorite band. I don't know if you separate them like you do for like award, you know, ceremonies and stuff like that, where there's like group awards and then there's artist awards and stuff. But dude, hands down, I mean, Old Dominion is like, I think the best band in Nashville.
They were one of the headliners up at Country Fan Fest just a couple months ago, and they did the neatest thing. So the three of them came up. So during their set, they all played, and then they have this catwalk that comes out like this and then comes out like a T off the main stage.
Yeah.
And they put up 3 bar stools, and the 3 of them sat up there, and they talked about all the songs they wrote, and they fucking played them.
Dude, yeah.
And you're like, these guys are monsters.
That's how it started, as far as I know. I don't know them or anything.
That's their story.
You know, but they like started writing together and just at like a very late age, you know, just started a band from scratch. It's amazing what's gone on with them.
They just it's weird that, you know, I mean, I look at stuff. I see a band in here every Friday. Some up here, some down here, some in the middle, some wherever. And I was just back in Nashville a couple weeks ago for the Party for a Cause, and we were standing outside, and I don't know the dude's name from Old Dominion, but he rolled up in his Jeep coming in the back because he's obviously at home to play their show, and he just rolls up in this old like CJ5, and then just, you know, I'm like, that's cool.
Yeah. Hey, sweet.
He's home. He's
That's
home.
awesome.
Yeah, they're super neat dudes. I
That
like
would
them
be a
too.
dream, man. If I could, you know, get a slot opening for them, obviously that would be amazing. But I mean, shoot, dude, we just went to Whiskey Jam in Nashville. They had a Universal Music Group takeover, and Travis Denning played. And I mean, he's the guy that I would love to go open for, man.
Right.
I mean, he's left-handed and shreds, you know, so it's kind of fun to watch. You know, the guitar necks are going the opposite way. I don't know. Aesthetically, it's nice.
He's been here twice.
But he's a great player, and the kind of guy that I think I would love to tour with. I think he probably grew up on some of the
Same stuff,
the like pop punk and post-hardcore stuff and whatnot. I know his tour manager did for sure, so they'd be a great time to go out on the road with for sure.
Yeah, he's a nice guy, man. He's been here a couple times and is just a down-home good dude.
Yeah.
Super good dude. I could see you going on the road with like a Granger Smith as well.
Oh, man, yeah.
'Cause that dude is his drummer.
Shreds.
Oh, my gosh.
Dude, that's awesome.
I sent some video. I'll have to show you after, but my buddy Nick that lives in Denver plays drums, and I like took some video and sent it to him. Like, dude, this guy's in the wrong band. Like,
when the drummer shows up to the wrong gig.
yeah,
Oh,
I've
man.
seen that video.
God, it's so
it wasn't
good.
like that, but
Dude, Granger, man, he my buddy Ian that I told you about earlier, he had a cut on Granger's last release that he wrote with this other guy, Brett Cherokee, that is just one of the best songs either one of them have written, and then Granger recorded it and put it out. It was just a really cool thing to see that song come to life like that, you know, through a big artist. It was like his first big cut, you know, which is nuts. Hell, I just got my first like release by another artist,
which is
a week ago. Jordan Fletcher is from my hometown. He's from Jacksonville, and me, Ian, and Jordan wrote this song, "Rather Be Broke." You know, Jordan, he was in a mood, dude. He goes, "I write songs every day that don't mean shit, and they're okay, but I want to say something that I would want to say to my wife. Like, can we write something like that for me, like that today?" And we were like, yeah, let's do it, you know? So that was literally like the conversation we had before the write started, and that's the song we ended up with. And then he got signed to the label, and now that's his first song that he puts out. I was like, I didn't see that coming, you know, in the moment when we were writing that song. But, dude, we cut like a really simple, just like to the track that Ian had going, and cut Jordan's vocal on it. He immediately like sends it to his team. They send it to the guys at the Highway. They're like, "This is great. Let us know when you have it cut. We'll put it out." And then all of that happened within months, which is nuts because now it's a Highway find and all this shit's happening. It's cool.
Jordan Fletcher?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very, very cool, man. It's a great song. If you haven't heard it, if you haven't heard of him, if you're listening to this, go listen to that song
right now.
It's Rather Be Broke. I love it though, man. I'm really stoked to see somebody put something out, or like want to put something out that I wrote with them. Like, that's never happened.
Is that your first release that's been out?
It is. Like that I didn't record myself. Yes.
Right.
Yeah. Which
that's
is
crazy.
Really cool. Yeah.
That's got to be a good feeling, man.
It is. Yeah. Feels like a bonus win. You know what I mean?
Right. What do you think are like marks for you to get to? Like in the next 5 years, what are a couple things that on your bucket list that you want to get done?
I was just talking about this with my wife, actually. It's like, well, we moved to Nashville. We bought a house. We're not going anywhere. We've planted pretty deep roots.
Right.
She got her master's degree. We got married there. Like, all of these major life milestones have happened there for us. So we're not going anywhere. And I've never felt like more at home other than my home there, you know? So, man, it's got to be something along the lines of me, you know, going from being completely independent right now to having a record deal and having some kind of success that leads to a publishing deal that makes sense. And, you know, obviously chart success as far as terrestrial radio goes is still so important for country as a genre in general.
Right.
You know, we've seen some of the stuff where like an artist can blow up on streaming platforms but then not translate to terrestrial radio, and you don't know what it is. You don't know if it's the
weird.
radio team or the whatever, the timing, God knows. But it doesn't necessarily just mean it's going to work everywhere if it works in one place or another. So
Right.
I would like to see some terrestrial radio success, but I mean, gosh, that is just like so crazy to even wish for or think about, because the stars have to align in the most specific way for something like that to work. And a lot of people have to agree to spend a lot of money on you to do that.
Right.
And
Which is sad.
I think, you know, hey, I'm definitely like worth investing in.
Right.
Because
I got 5 on it.
listen to this. I'll put 5 on it. But man, I'm never been more stoked about the songs that I'm writing right now. I have 5 songs right now that I'm planning to release in some different ways.
Are they recorded already?
They're already done. They're mastered.
can,
They're literally
done.
ready to go. So putting a release strategy together for those, figuring out when I'm going to cut the new ones and how we're going to release those as well, and starting to play some more showcases and just trying to get,
Good.
you know, build my team with the right folks.
What about places that you want to play?
Places that I want to play. Gosh, I mean,
Like they're stepping stones for a successful artist.
right. So, okay. So this kind of ties back to something I was talking about earlier. So my vision for my live show and how to have a little bit more sustainable live model would be stripping the band back a little bit, but figuring out a way to still create a visual show, because dude, I play everything, you know what I mean? So there's got to be some fun ways that we can kind of mix up the show, because there's already so many tracks going on, and there's artists like Ernest and Nico Moon going out with very, very minimal band members. You know, my buddy Chris Bandy I told you about
Right.
is, you know, everybody talks about some of these artists go out without a bass player, and is that okay? I don't know. And I don't
Levi
think,
Hammond just did that.
I don't think
here,
anybody cares anymore, dude.
Levi came here with a drummer and a guitar player and himself. And
Yeah.
bass was all tracks.
Right. So
Sounded
if that's okay, then I want to explore that option.
Sorry, Lane.
Yeah. Sorry, dude. I know. I love Lane to death, but that is something that I want to explore in the future, and, you know, just figure out how to still put on what feels like a full band show with maybe less than a technical full band.
Sure.
But all that to say, dude, I want to pack out 300 cap clubs. I want to be able to take that first step into like the smallest clubs that you're even allowed to play these kinds of shows in, but bring a level of production that sets you apart.
They
To
don't
where
forget you.
If there's even only 100 people in that 300 cap club, they go, holy shit, that guy
Right.
just brought it. You know what I mean? And I feel like those are the kinds of things, you know, with marketing and stuff like that, that's what creates conversions. That's what makes somebody go, I'm going to look this dude up right now. And that's what creates a fan.
Yeah.
You know, I think the word fan gets thrown around a lot. It means fanatic. I don't think everybody that says they're a fan of something is actually a fanatic.
They like
But that's what we have to call it. You have to
Sure.
call it something. So we created the super
I'm,
fan.
I'm offended.
So if I can create super fans by just blowing small clubs out of the water, you know, performance wise and production wise, like that's what I really want to go do.
I like it.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
build it from there.
Inspiration to play the Opry?
Oh my gosh, if they ask me right now, the answer would be yes, 100 times yes. Oh my god, dude, that is like
Well, why would it
major-
ever be no?
It wouldn't. I don't
Yeah.
know, but there's some people who have not gone to do it and
Right.
haven't shown an interest in wanting to go do it, which is weird.
Dylan Carmichael sat here, and he used to work for the Opry.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was-
Wild.
he was-
Imagine being there to experience it, you know, from that
Right.
position. And you're just seeing all this stuff happen that you want to actually do and all of that. I mean,
And then he
wow.
got to play. He was
Yeah.
the first ever, I think,
like
what
employee
employee to ever play the Opry.
transition as an artist. Wow.
Yeah.
That's badass. dude.
Pretty neat.
The other one, Cam, worked at the Country Music Hall of Fame.
Oh, wow.
And
Did
then,
really?
you know, became like a, you know, very successful artist now, which is awesome.
Dylan also told me he was a security guard on Broadway.
Oh my God, dude! So was Tyler Farr. He worked at Damn Tootsie's. I mean, that is wild to me, dude.
It's nuts. I got a phone call on Monday. We were talking about Sam Grow earlier. He just got his call Monday or Tuesday to play the Opry for the first time.
Wow.
So he FaceTimed me, and I pick up the phone. He goes, "I need you to do me a favor." I go, "What's that?" He goes, "November 27th. Clear the day." I go, "In Vegas or?" And he goes, "Everywhere." And I go, "What's up?" He goes, "I'm playing the Opry." I go, "Shut the fuck up." He goes, "I can't announce it till Friday." And I'm the guy that I always let stuff out of the bag.
You get the heads up, though.
Well, but no, like if he sent me a song, and they had this big release on CMT, and I fucking played it on Country AF Radio, and a bunch of our listeners screenshot. No, they screenshotted it.
Oh, they screen recorded it and they had it.
And they tagged. They tagged him and posted it on social. And his manager called. He's like, "What the fuck?" He's like, and I'm just like, "Oh shit!" Like I felt really bad. So I wrote his manager this morning because they announced it this morning at 10. I said,
"They're gonna call you Leaky Toad."
Yes. Oh, I got diapers for that.
Yeah.
I was like, I did good, man. I kept a secret. I was proud of myself. I didn't say anything. But dude, that's huge. So I was just curious about like if that's like how people perceive that, you know.
Dude, that would be a legendary, like, insane moment. Absolutely would love to play the Opry. I want to get to the point where like the local radio station from my hometown invites me, you know what I mean?
To play a show.
Where they're like, "Dude, we really want to come have you do this event for us," you know what I mean? Blah, blah, blah.
When
like,
you play there.
As I have a single climbing the charts or something, like that to me will be like, all right, I think I'm kind of making it right now. You know what I mean? If something like that goes down, then that's going to be a really nice step in the right direction. Yeah.
We should.
I think I got to go play, huh?
Tell people how to find you online.
All right. So please look me up. It's at Stephen Carey Country. It's Stephen with a PH, Carey like Mariah. And,
no, Carey like Danny.
Carey like Danny, bro. Oh my gosh. I wish more people knew who Danny Carey was, but I'm on Instagram, I'm on TikTok, and you can find me on Facebook if you like. I tweet random things as well, but would really love to connect with you guys if you're listening on Instagram and TikTok. I run all of my socials, of course, so anytime anybody likes or comments or anything, if I respond, it's me. And Lord knows what I'm doing at the moment that I respond. So
they're taking chances. That's what that's called. Like when you respond, it's a timing thing then.
No kidding. Yeah, exactly.
Because most guys are on the phone when they're in the bathroom.
Yep. I wasn't gonna say it, but
thanks for the time.
Absolutely, man. Thank you.
Baby, you can just play me. Here I am, girl, take me. 'Cause I'd rather have a girl that wrecks me. I'd rather have a girl that